Hello, and welcome to another episode of CXO-Talk. I'm Michael Krigsman, and we're here today with my co-host, Vala Afshar. As always, Vala.
Michael.
How are you?
Nice seeing you.
So this is very exciting. We're at the offices of the Boston Celtics with NBA legend JoJo White. JoJo, how are you?
I'm doing absolutely fantastic.
And the Celtics CIO, Wessel. Jay, how are you?
Great, thank you.
So Vala, you have to introduce these two amazing men.
It is such an honor to be here. Growing up in the Boston area, playing basketball in high school and junior high, and watching the Celtics win championships. What a great franchise to be here with Celtics legend JoJo White. And I want to share with the audience. Most of you know JoJo White, so this is redundant, but I'm gonna make the introduction anyway. We're with a Olympic gold medalist, JoJo White. JoJo was drafted in the first round by the Celtics in 1969. 7-time NBA All-Star. Some info you may not know: Mr. White played in 484 straight games. We're talking to the true Iron Man of the NBA here.
That's unbelievable.
That's 5 years of not missing games. So you young athletes playing today, you have a role model in terms of what it takes to be successful in life, sports, and business. Grit. Keep that word in mind as we talk. 2-time NBA champion, and in 1976, NBA Finals MVP. So we're talking about a gold medal basketball champion and an NBA champion and an NBA finalist. And the number, as you all know, when we go to the Garden every night watching whether it's basketball or Bruins hockey, number retired by the Celtics in 1982. So truly a privilege and honor to be here with you, Mr. White.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And we're also here with Jay Wessel, Vice President of Technology for the Boston Celtics. Jay, you joined the Celtics in 1990.
Yes.
So 23 years of bringing technology and innovation to the most storied franchise in basketball.
It's
so
been that long?
It hasn't been that long. Yes. It's like we met yesterday.
That was the first year of computerized box scores, 1990.
Unbelievable.
No?
I've seen him around so long.
So today it's a privilege because we're going to learn about business, sports, leadership, technology, and again, it's just truly an honor for both of us to be here. I hope the audience feels the same.
Great. Well, we are here talking about business and technology, but let's begin with teamwork. Mm. So, JoJo, your life has been about teamwork, and maybe you can tell us a little bit about teamwork and what the impact can be on business and on the Celtics today and in the past, and just what do you think?
Oh, it's been unbelievable, for me personally, just playing with the Celtics. But the man who was really running the show, Arnold Auerbach, knew how to put the right people together that makes up teams, who to draft, to make up the teams that you saw a lot of the championships run. He spearheaded a lot of that. So it took somebody who understood how to put the right people together at the helm, and we were fortunate to have him.
So what are some of the things that you learned from him?
Well,
at that time,
how to use your individual talent placed on a team that can benefit other guys on your team, and vice versa.
Mm-hmm. And Jay, you're running a business here, and obviously you have a team, and so what are some of the team impacts on your business? That some of the lessons, the things that you've learned.
The working as a team here at the Celtics, or in other jobs I've had too, is so important, especially in technology. Otherwise, technology is just you're doing it for technology's sake. You're building computers and you're putting networks together just for the sake of doing it, and that's actually no fun. IT is actually so dry. I find it very boring. What I find more exciting is working with the other groups here, and here in this office, that's ticketing and finance and marketing and sales, and then also the basketball coaching staff, understanding what it is they're doing, how they do their job, how they would like to do their job, and then figuring out how we can develop systems that actually help them do it. So it's really the human part that is much better, and then build a system and then go help them use those systems. So I mean, I like that human interaction and the teamwork of technology and the business side, or the coaching side, which really for us is business, much better than just building the systems for the sake of systems.
That's fantastic. So as I read Mr. White's book, Make It Count, about your life growing up and as a young athlete and being a leader, one thing that stood out for me in this book was that, you know, as a young man, you made your own basket. You made your own basketball hoop to play, and it speaks to being self-sufficient and self-motivated and really passionate about the sport and overcoming obstacles. And as I hear a CIO talk about learning about the business, learning about other functions like sales and marketing to be successful, there's an element of being self-motivated, interested, passionate. Talk to us about creating your own basket and how important it is for people to, you know, intentionally struggle to achieve success.
Well, I'm the youngest of seven kids, yes. And so I adored the game. I played all sports, but basketball is my love. So to have the opportunity to work on my game, I couldn't just go to my father and my mother and say, can you go and buy me a hoop? We had to like put things together to create our own opportunities to continue to get better. And so I went through the process of building my own hoop, you know, on the side of our house that I would have to work every day on my game.
That's amazing. And for those of you who may not know, Mr. White had a college scholarship afforded to them for basketball, for baseball, and for football. So when he says he played all sports, he played all sports.
Yes, you did.
He played them at this level. Now I want to know, how come Gail Sayers couldn't convince you to play football?
Well, because I adored basketball. I played football, but I would always resort back to basketball. I just absolutely adored playing that sport.
Well,
so,
the Celtics love the fact you picked basketball.
Even though I adored Gail Sayers, you know, basketball was the game that I loved.
So you were intensely self-motivated as a very young man. I mean, you created that motivation.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I adored it. I mean, I simply adored all sport, but basketball was, you know, the one I just fell in love with.
So for a CIO to be successful, do they need to adore technology? Do they need to adore?
I think so. I do, absolutely. Yeah, I can't imagine trying to do this job coming from some other role. I've always been a technologist, and I don't see how you can do anything you don't adore. I think you have to, you have to be passionate about it, and yeah, so absolutely, in my opinion, you do have to be it. And that was true from when I was growing up. You know, when people would ask me, what are you going to do when you grow up? I have always said, probably from 10 years old, I'm going to build computers.
Did you really?
And there weren't that many computers back then. So yeah, so that's always been a big thing for me. But I want to go back, you know, one very important thing JoJo touched on is sort of the passion as a youth and sports, and that he built it himself. And that's actually kind of different than today. Today, you know, all the kids play things, but they often play what their parents want them to play, and there's a lot more adult supervision and adult involvement, and I think that changes the way the youth sports work. You know, same thing when I grew up and played youth sports. You know, I'm the youngest, only of two, but you know, I learned what I learned from my older brother, and he would help me, but there weren't parents around all the time, and they weren't pushing us into team sports, and there weren't a million coaches or even technology in youth sports today. I mean, they get filmed and they study film and they have playbooks and things. We didn't do that, and I think that helped the passion. Now it's almost mechanical instead of passion.
Did your parents push you in any way? It sounds like you were totally self-motivated.
Totally self-motivated in the basketball area. 12 o'clock at night, I mean, to try and convince your parents that you're playing ball. You know, and then finally they got a chance to come and see me play. And then they were sold in on the fact that he absolutely loved that sport. You know, and from then on, they followed my career.
So they supported you after it.
Absolutely.
Uh-huh.
So there was a moment, a game that they saw you,
Yes.
and they saw the JoJo white magic firsthand.
Absolutely.
And that was great.
And they supported me all the way through.
And now you have 6 children, and so how did you you encourage them to follow their passion and their love of the game? Because I know your son is a athlete and tried out for the Patriots and is again a great role model.
Well, see, he adored football. And see, I have 5 daughters.
Yes.
You see, now none of them, even though a couple of them played the sport, they didn't adore it. Or took the approach, the way we did.
Sure.
When we was introduced to the sport, but they played as well.
Sure.
And it was exciting for me as a parent, watching them go through the system and do all right in the sport.
That's fantastic. So do you think the sport perhaps is a little bit different today? Meaning, is the passion there? You said the word mechanics and maybe a little less. I don't think kids are building their own baskets anymore.
The money is certainly there today.
The money is there today. Is the sport different today?
Well, the sport is not different. It's the same sport. It's taught different. So it's not as many athletes like adoring it to the point where you can't wait for the next day, so you can go out there and play some more. But there are opportunities. If you are good in certain sports, you got an opportunity of taking it even further.
Makes sense.
Jay, the business of professional sports is intensely competitive. And in effect, you're competing with high-def televisions. So how do you get people to show up in the stadium? And before you answer, I just want to remind that you're watching CXO-Talk, and if you have questions, you can tweet them to hashtag CXOTalk, and we'll ask JoJo White and Jay Wessel your questions.
So that's actually an interesting question that we discuss a lot on both sides of the tables. We certainly want the television audiences and the second, the third, and even fourth screen audiences from elsewhere. We want them as interested because that's a big part of our business as well. But the arena experience is the thing that's the most exciting, and that's why I'm still here. I love the arena. I love game day. I'm at the arena 8 a.m. till midnight on game day, and there's something about being in an arena or a stadium for a live sporting event that makes it better. So a lot of it is just the game and being there and being at the event. And you're going to see that starting in an hour next door because the Bruins are playing, possible closeout tonight. And just walking near it, you'll feel the excitement and the buzz of the live crowd. So some of it just does it all by itself, is that the people want to do it. The real fans need to see it live. It's different than being at home. But they're used to the comforts of home. Right, they're used to sitting in their chair and having a drink and being able to see replays and things. So we do deliver that experience. A lot of those experiences at the arena now. We've got high def screens. Call them the jumbotron. That's actually a Sony term. They're not jumbotrons anymore. I don't think Sony's even in that business. But so we have big high def scoreboard screens. We have stats all over on LED signage. We're doing replays, we're delivering content to people's mobile devices, we're interacting with them on Facebook and Twitter. We have programs where people tweet and you can see your tweet about the game up on the LED signage. So we're trying to be interactive with the fans in their seats as well as trying to stick true to the game that's on the court.
How do you overcome the fact that it's so expensive? I mean, they have to pay in order to show up. I mean, what are some of the things that you're doing?
Well, I said, trying to engage, trying to be more interactive with the fans, trying to show them, on the internal screens, which is like it's a TV show that runs right in the arena, to deliver content for them, let them share their experiences in social media. A little bit of all of those things. We've tried a whole lot of different things. We stick with some of them. The Twitter campaign we've stuck with for a while. We've had some ones where there were 360-degree views of the arena taken at a few times early in the game, and then people could find themselves on Facebook and tag it and post it from there. So we've tried to just interact with them and bring them into the game. Certainly plenty of promotions and things.
It's a lot more action in dealing with the athletes themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So you get a chance, whether you're sitting at home watching, you get a chance to interact with the athletes. You get to know a lot more about them.
Sure. And you have a very strong social media presence. I mean, the Celtics Facebook page, Twitter page, you have over 1 million
we do
followers.
Tremendous following.
It's unbelievable, and the game's entertaining too. There's seat upgrades, and there's always during the timeouts and between quarters and halftime, there's entertainment. So
there is entertainment, game presentation. We put a lot of emphasis on game presentation. We've got a department of 5 or 6 people plus the dancers,
right.
Who's and the mascot.
Can't forget the dance.
Yeah,
dancers and the mascot Lucky.
In case you're wondering,
I'm moving my seat down.
All of that game presentation, we're trying to make it as interesting as possible. And there's not much time, because you can't do. You don't want to do a lot while the game's going on, but you want to do as much as you can when the game's not going on.
Mm-hmm.
So we try and optimize the timeouts and do as much as we can. But ultimately, it comes down to if you can afford it, you're going to pay the entertainment dollar. You've got to be a fan. Some of it you've got to really be a fan, or you're not going to spend your entertainment money this way. You spend much less money and take the family to a movie.
Yeah.
So you see it as entertainment. I mean, basically.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes. Absolutely.
So, as someone who is on social media a bit,
like right now,
right now, as I'm typing, I'm not checking email. I'm actually using Twitter to share your words of wisdom. As the youngest of 7 children, and as someone who's highly competitive at an early age across multiple sports, how did that shape your character? As an athlete, as a leader, as a business professional, just the love of the competition and making sure that your character is always something, your compass and guiding you to make sure you're doing the right thing for the right reason at the right time.
Well, I mean, if you're not playing sport or just a regular person every day, you want to present yourself in a certain way or try to win people who might admire you for whatever it is that you're doing. And certainly an athlete, to be able to expose them to all different kinds of, it's huge, to have them involved as much as possible and want to be involved.
So fame could be fleeting, but your legacy, your character, that's what's sustained over time. Now, I just need to say, I am totally 100% distracted as I ask you these questions with that big giant ring. So could we possibly have the camera see your? Okay, this is. I'm sorry, I'm interrupting the flow. No, my goodness. Oh wow.
Absolutely.
This is the 17th championship, 2008 championship ring, and I hope you can. The camera can't tell you how heavy it is, but okay, I'm asking the questions and I just cannot. I'm completely in awe of that. Wow, that's fantastic. Thank you very much. Sorry for interrupting the flow, but it's
Thank you.
We don't often have such fantastic ring.
The problem with the ring, though, I'll tell you one story, is it's addictive. So people have said to me for many years, I come out of a technology background, I'm an engineer, how long are you going to work for the Celtics? This goes back starting in 1990. And I always said, I'm going to work till I get a ring. But then you get the ring, and it's like, well, yeah, I don't want to give up now. I want more, right? It becomes very addictive. So it's a double-edged sword.
That's amazing. That's amazing. When you wear the ring, do you wear it to I'm guessing getting a haircut on a Saturday, you have the ring?
I don't. I'm such a hands-on mechanical guy that I rarely wear it. I wear it to events, charity events, and dinners and things like that.
Social gatherings.
But for the most part, I don't wear mine. But that's purely, I can't because I work with my hands too much, and I'm too much of a mechanic.
Let's actually dig into the technology for a moment. So wireless, mobile, and analytics. Those are the big things.
Okay.
And so what are those? What are you, if anything, doing with these?
So wireless and mobile, this past season was the first season that we actually had a Celtics branded, Celtics owned mobile app, mostly aimed at iPhone and Android phones. Mm-hmm. And then we tried to deliver a few things that you can't get elsewhere. I mean, there's plenty of places you can check the score and even see the stats running by on a mobile. So we tried to deliver a few other things, ongoing chats with experts somewhat in the game, from our staff, and a few special features and things. So we tried to engage our fans that weren't in the arena through our mobile app and had moderate success. I think that given that it was our first year and we didn't promote it particularly hard, I think we did really well with it. Mm-hmm. So we definitely see a lot of mobile. One trick in the world that then ties into your analytics question is, how do you sort of tie who's dealing with us mobile and who's interacting with us on mobile or on Facebook or on these other things to who's buying tickets? And that's where analytics sort of comes to view. Who are our customers? What are they doing? What are they buying? When are they coming to watch games? So we have sort of two big pools of analytics. One is that side, the almost big data side that stems from tickets and mobile and Facebook and that. And we certainly collect a lot of data from a lot of different sources there and look at it very hard with a number of tools, both built in-house and third-party. But then we have the basketball side of analytics, which is the side that is very much homegrown for us. Mm-hmm. We started development of sort of some basketball analytic-like software well over a decade ago and have grown it ever since. And we have a database that statistics that I think the first year that we've got in there now is 1995 or 96. So every play of every game in the NBA starting in 1995 or 96, we've got in a database, and we can churn it every which way and even supplement it. We can go back, and we do this after games. A coach will go back and add other labels to plays, things that aren't coming from the box score data, which is all we can collect electronically. We add more data. So not only was that Pierce making a 15-foot shot from the right side, it was off of a double screen, and it was play number UCLA 3. Mm-hmm. And so that then we can say, well, how many times does Pierce make from the right side when we run UCLA 3 versus when you run UCLA 2. So we've done a lot of work on that, and we continue every day. We have one full-time software developer that does nothing but work on basketball statistical data.
So it's like competitive intelligence against the other teams.
Yes. We think a little edge, and it's helped. We don't like to throw out too many examples, but it has helped. When we're playing, going up against teams, we look through that data and we try and find something we can expose that says, hey, when you cover this guy a certain way, you have a better chance of stopping him. And that we've used that from time to time, and then we need to impart that data on the players, on the Kevin Garnett's and the Paul Pierces of the world. Paul, when you see him look to the left, let him go, because he's going to miss when he goes to the left. Yeah. But when you see him look to the right, you get there because he's going to make it from the right. I mean, that's a simplistic view, but those are the kinds of things we're trying to look for. This is all the basic things everybody knows, right? If LeBron beats you on the baseline, he's going to make the shot. That the analytics isn't going to help you with that.
Mm-hmm. Just like in the past when they just simply said, give the ball to JoJo.
Get out of the way.
Get out of the way.
So JoJo, this is obviously, all of this is very different from when you were a player.
Absolutely.
This didn't exist.
I mean, technology, in sports is like growing, like I can't even tell you. Mm-hmm. But if you use it properly, make a lot of things happen.
So do you notice an impact on the players and their performance on the basis of this technology?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So it's really clear.
Yeah, it is.
Mm-hmm. Now, somebody told me that, and I don't recall their name, that if you were playing today, you would average somewhere between 52 to 60 points a game. I just want your...
I don't think so. I don't think so. I mean, because...
Come on, the defense? Would the defense not give you an opportunity?
Well, but see, as a player, I shared the ball a lot. You see, so it was about involving your teammates with what it is that you're doing. So that keeps everybody's head in the game. And they know, it's just like with Rondo on this team. Sure. The ball comes off the glass, first person they look for is Rondo, because he's supposed to set the pace going them down the floor.
So do you think the defense of today is as strong, as disciplined as when you played?
Not even close.
Not even close.
No.
All right. So maybe 45 points a game.
Something around
So
there.
I would imagine that people playing today might take exception to that.
Man, when they have multiple rings and
Well, if
they're
if they're benefiting from it, no.
right.
And so all of it is to benefit the players that are out on the floor. Now you're not gonna just take off and start running, and I never pass you the ball. Pretty soon you start running. See what I'm saying? So my job is to make sure we share. If I'm starting out with the ball, I'm gonna make sure that I'm sharing, and you'll see guys feeling the wings because they know they're gonna get the ball back.
See, as a chief marketing officer working very closely with my CIO, I often feel that when he walks into a marketing staff meeting and he brings a new company, new technology, new capability, whether it's a software base or on-premise, he's passing me the ball, helping me be successful.
Absolutely.
And so, you know, a lot of people should realize this, that you're bringing technology during game day, but you're working with sales, you're working with marketing, you're working with business development and all the other lines of business in any traditional business outside of the Celtics. So are you're providing that assist to these different functions and collaborating to be successful?
No question. We try and build systems that are going to use them. We try and define systems together, or you know, we're doing that right now. We use some CRM functions in our ticketing software right now. You know, all the conventional CRM kinds of things, but we sort of outgrown the CRM functions that are there. So we're looking for a new big CRM. We're investigating whether it makes sense to implement a new big CRM. And so we have a cross-functional group from sales, marketing, and myself, and we're looking at trying to look at what's out there, define what pieces of the different tools that are out there we could use and how, then put together, this is what we're going to do. You know, at which point I'll go off, do the implementation, and hand it back to them and say, okay, here it is, what we all agreed that we're going to do. Let's see how this helps you sell.
Who's driving the CRM initiative? So is it marketing? Is it IT? Who chairs that committee, or is it joint?
It's joint. I would say who chairs it really is we call strategic ticket marketing and business operations. I think is the official term. So, but it's ticketing. But you know, what you're really asking is what's the most important thing in the business, and other than putting on the best possible team on the court, selling tickets is still what rules in pro sports. Right. You see a lot. The public, what's more public is sponsorship, you know, signage. You see the signs here on our wall, sponsorship and television media and everything. But what really pays the bills is ticket sales still. So tickets is going to drive that. Although we'd like it to be used in the other sales functions, in the media functions, and in the sponsorship functions as well. Every time we look at something, we're trying to see not just how it's going to apply to tickets, but also how it can apply to the sponsorship side.
So the technology is really hand in hand with these other business functions.
Yes, definitely.
And with the players, with the people on the team on the floor as well.
Yes, on the basketball side, and you know, I do both functions. I deal with the technology on the business side and the basketball side, and yes, we do the same thing. You know, one of the things that the players have wanted is more access to more video, and they don't want just the entire game of video. They want specific things that are relevant to them. So if I'm Kevin Garnett, I want to see what I did tonight, and I want to see it now after the game, or at least first thing in the morning, no later than first thing in the morning.
It's fresh in his mind.
Yeah, I want to see what I did last night, and then I want to see what I didn't do, and I also want to see who I'm guarding tomorrow. And I want both of those things delivered. So we've struggled with that. The coaches have been able to do this for the best part of a decade, easily on their computers. But delivering that to the players has been difficult. We've cut DVDs or tried to get so this year was the first time we did digital distribution through a cloud service to their iPads. So the players open up their iPad in the morning, Kevin Garnett clicks on his folder, downloads his stuff, and he gets just what he needs to see because the video coordinator has cut up the video and sent it to his folder, or any of the other players. I think we've pretty much got almost every, if not every single player, most of them on that. And it's usually iPad, doesn't have to be, but it usually is. So yeah, that's a place where we had a hole of the coaches had the video and that stuff, but we couldn't get into the hands of the players. And finally, sort of the cloud distribution world over the past 2 years or so really opened that up, and it's worked great.
And all the starters get this real-time video footage of their play?
Yeah, well, we generally, I don't know that we necessarily specify it for a given player, but we do bigs and by function on the court. So we don't, not usually as personal as Kevin Garnett, although sometimes. Usually it's bigs or guards.
You talk about the mobility, you talk about the cloud data, all these incredible mega trends that you've implemented and you leverage. How about security? Losing plays, scouting reports. How do you lock down this intellectual property that exists within the Celtics? I mean, it must be
Are you concerned about that? Are you concerned about
a little bit
other
concerned.
teams getting a hold of your
I mean, we try and protect it. We try not to be too public. We try not to put too many things out in too public places. So putting the video out through a cloud service isn't that big a deal because it really isn't video. It isn't anything that you couldn't go get if you were a consumer on ESPN.com if you just wanted to do it, you know. So we're not too concerned, but we certainly watch our security. We constantly upgrading security, working with companies like Interisys to make sure that we're sort of secure from the inside out. But I spend a lot of time in every summer, every off season when we tend to do big IT projects right now. Security is one of them. I've got 2 new firewalls on my bench right now that I'm working to get in and swap out the ones from a few years back. So we always try to stay one step ahead of the bad guys, but not always so easy.
Now, JoJo, your son Brian White sends a message. He, I tweeted before that we're sitting here with you and that you had said that he's a great kid.
Yeah.
And he responds back on Twitter saying, "Well, he always tells the truth. You always tell the truth."
Yeah. Always.
He didn't tweet back and say he's a great father.
Yeah.
Now
Brian?
he's listening.
If you're listening, we're waiting for that too.
Listen for my call.
So, JoJo, before you mentioned that one of the jobs of the players on the court is to share.
Yeah.
And to me, that's pretty interesting.
Well, let me say you should share. Yeah.
So I find that pretty interesting because obviously professional athletes are put on a pedestal, and I work with accomplished business people who are not put on the same level of pedestal as the athletes, but there's such a tendency to develop kind of a prima donna attitude. And I wonder maybe you can just talk about that and the.
Well, a lot of times you're judged on what you are individually doing on the floor, and not so much judged as to what you mean to the spectrum of the whole team. I mean, certain things that certain individuals do that other individuals can't do, that they need them to blend in with, that's what makes up a team. You see, it's just like with Kevin. I mean, it seems like more and more he's getting further and further from the basket. And I asked him on several occasions, well, if you miss, what's we get the rebound? And so now he becomes aware of those things and try and figure out in his own head, how can I now put myself in a position to where I can help benefit my teammates even more? And it goes with Rondo, same guy. You can't just take off with the ball and not have anybody run with you. If you're not going to share it, well, people are going to stop running with you. And so a lot of those things you have to figure it out, or your coach has to help you figure out. It helps our team be better, trying to put out a team out there on the floor.
So it's kind of the antidote to the prima donna syndrome in a way.
Yes.
The one thing that was mentioned in your book, I mean, so many people were interviewed as a process of writing this book to learn more about your leadership methodology and
like
style.
Team is spelled T-E-A-M.
That's right.
There's no I in the word.
Absolutely.
And the sooner as a team you find it out, then the game becomes easier out on the floor. And when you find it out, it's like, oh, okay.
Got it.
And is this aspect, has this changed over time?
It has. It has. Because sometimes we get caught up in, from individual standpoint, well, if I do X, Y, and Z, well, then I'm going to make OYK, you know. But it might not be beneficial to the team. So you want to do those things that will help the team be better. Then you become really important. See what I'm saying? If you're the handler of the ball and you're sharing it, soon that ball come off the backboard, you're the first person they're looking for to get that ball to, because they know that you will share it, you know, down the floor.
So you've been described as someone who's fiercely competitive, but incredibly humble and always positive.
Absolutely.
What advice do you have for people who may be feeling a bit negative or depressed? How do you maintain that positivity that has helped you be successful?
Know that you're doing the very best that you can do, or do those things that is being asked of you. And if you have room, do some extra things.
Excellent.
Then you become, your teammates, your coaches, they start to want that from you. You know, it helps you be a better player out on the floor.
What can a CIO do to, you know, we had a CIO of the largest university in New Hampshire, and she talked to us about being a CIO plus. One example was wear a CFO hat. In other words, understand the financial constraints that a business has. What advice do you have to CIOs to elevate themselves from not just being the chief information officer, but innovation, intelligence, imagination officer?
Yeah, I think that for a long time, CIOs sort of got a bad rap of wanting to say no a lot. It's like, no, we're not doing that. That doesn't work. It breaks the security rules, or you know, we can't do that. It's too hard, or too something. And to try and I've tried to take a step back and not have my first answer be no, we're not doing that. Try and understand what it is. The world and the technology has moved such that it helps us too. But I don't spend as much time on infrastructure anymore, because I can easily build virtual systems, you know, whether they're in my room down the hall or, you know, in the cloud somewhere. So the infrastructure task is maybe not simpler, but takes me less time. I spend less time on building infrastructure, which gives me more time to figure out how to use that infrastructure. The infrastructure should be a tool and not an end game for a CIO. So, and I've tried to embrace that. I've tried to embrace all the new technologies and not just be stuck building servers. My friend Steve Conley down the street at the Red Sox, my counterpart, says he used to be a server hugger, and he got over it. He got past being a server hugger. I think I've just recently got past that myself.
We have a question from Twitter for Mr. White. Who in the history, this is a question from Michael Lytle, who in the history of the NBA would you have most liked to have played with or played against?
Ooh.
In the history of NBA. So.
I would love to have played with Magic Johnson.
Wow.
The LA Lakers. I mean, he was truly a team player. You know, I mean, he could motivate, you know, all of his teammates individually, take a little step up more and be even a better player than you already are.
Although that little baby hook really bothered me for years.
Little jump hook.
That little, you know the game in the garden. But yes, I can see why Magic would be Magic Johnson. And then played against. I know you've guarded some of the greatest players in your history.
Or two that, you know, I adored playing against. But I wanted to twist it.
Can you see that? I don't know. That's a little scary.
That was these two that played in the backcourt with the Knicks. Walt Frazier, Earl Monroe. Oh, I didn't care what we played them. I wanted them bad. Bad. And the greatest part was being able to go in their house and beat them at home.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
How did you prepare yourself mentally for these really hard?
Well, you just reach from within. It's the competition of it all. I mean, you may be a player, but you still got to compete.
Uh-huh.
When you talk about winning versus losing. And you talk about players, when you talk about Earl and Walt Frazier, who were not only great players, I mean, they played to win. And they got off on coming to your house, spanking you in your house.
Well, of course, they want to.
Well, then of course we want to stop them.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we like to turn it back around, come to your house, and spank you the same way. You see, so we had that competition going.
What does that adrenaline come in business for a CIO? Is it new technology? You said you got a couple of firewalls waiting for you to, or is it helping marketing get more ticket sales? And what gets you really excited when you look back over the course of the week or the month?
Me personally, as I said earlier, is really about the arena. I get excited for the event, game day. There is nothing like game day.
Yeah.
There's a lot of interesting stuff that goes on here. As I said, it's not technology for technology's sake. It's much more interesting than an average business, but none of it compares to putting on that event and getting that ball goes tipped off and being ready for it, because there's a lot of technological challenges, especially for us. These arenas where we've got hockey teams and basketball teams that play on alternating nights, we are in and out. We take our entire technology setup, and starting at 8 in the morning, we set it all up courtside, and then after the game, it all gets torn down. So invariably, that's so many wires and wireless things and different technologies that there are problems. So fighting that and being ready, so when that ball goes up, you're ready. And it doesn't matter how many things broke. Nobody's going to wait and hold that game for you. You know, you don't say, "Excuse me, Mr. Referee, I'm not ready with my computer." That doesn't happen. He's going to play. He's going to throw that ball up at 7:40. Whether you're ready or not, so you better be ready. I call it the epitome of a real-time system. We used to, in the old days of mainframes, we had banking were real-time systems, right? The dollars had to move and the stock market had to move. And that's true, but more real-time is basketball scoring and statistics. If you don't capture what just happened on the court, well, you're not going to go back and capture. You've got to be ready, and that computer's got to be capturing it as it's happening, or you blew it.
A little bit of stress there on game day?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
You asked Joey Crawford a few times he's dealt with me.
Well, actually, we're fortunate. We've attended a number of games, and you are busy. We absolutely see you. It's like orchestrating. You're involved in so many aspects of the game. So, and it's actually thrilling watching you. Make sure that at the end everything works flawlessly, and the game, and the players, coaches, audience, fan, they all appreciate that hard work.
There are, and there's a lot of moving pieces. We have the title that we use in the broadcast business. So every broadcast show, in our case, the mobile broadcast trucks that come in to televise it, have an EIC, the engineering charge, and that's there's 350 different things, but if any one of them is broken, that EIC has to go put on that hat. And that's what I do inside the arena. I'm the sort of that floater, and it might be I need to get a trash can over there, or a chair over there, or it might be this computer crashed, or this network cable's broken. Could be a little bit of everything.
Well, we're almost out of time, but we have two last questions actually for JoJo. So the first one is, what did you find most challenging or most difficult as a player? What was the hardest thing about being a player?
Wow. Playing back-to-back high-profile games, like against the Knicks. You have a mental game you play on Friday, and then you come back to your place and you play against the same team on Saturday. I mean, it drains you. But at the same time, you're not just the one who's playing, others are playing too, so you have to step up to the plate, so to speak.
Did it drain you physically too, or more mentally?
Both. But you have to prepare yourself, to be able to play up to your level of play.
And you've got so each individual is doing it, and then there's the team dynamic as well going on at the same time.
Yes, absolutely.
Sounds like the team dynamic is the part you loved.
Oh, I did. Well, that's what the competition is about.
And your fondest memory as a Boston Celtic?
Oh, it's every day.
Every day.
It was every day for me. I mean, I adored being here. I absolutely did. because I mean, not only the organization, I mean, all the players, I mean, we took it very, very, very seriously. And so to don that uniform and get out there and play, oh man, it was unbelievable.
Are you still friends with some of the players from back then?
That's why I'm here. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Great. Well, thank you so much.
I really enjoyed this.
We can feel the passion.
Yeah.
Honestly, if this was a Monday, I'd be running around work, high-fiving all the employees. So I can't wait to share this interview with our company and our audience.
I hope that the people watching can feel the intensity of the passion that you both have, that you both bring to this. So we've been talking. This is CXO-Talk, and we've been talking today with JoJo White and with Jay Wessel, who are both part of the fabric of the Celtics for a long time. And I'm Michael Krigsman with my co-host Vala Afshar.
Thank you, Michael.
This has been a wonderful experience, and we thank you both so much. And I thank everybody for watching, and we'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.